Meeting will come to order. May I have a roll call, please? Babcock? Here. Chapman?
Here.
Eckberg?
Here.
Gurian?
Here.
Khan?
Here.
Morrison? Here. Seifert?
Here.
As always with conducting district business, we remember our mission, which is to produce world-class learners by building a connected learning community. Dr. Thompson?
This evening, we are fortunate to have some students from Hunting Ridge School here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to ask the principal, Ms. Christine Ortland, to come up and introduce her students and tell us a little about them.
Good evening, Dr. Thompson, President Babcock, members of the Board of Education, Cabinet, and distinguished guests. My name is Christine Ortland, and I'm the principal of Hunting Ridge School, here with Mr. Mike Coleman, our assistant principal. Joining us tonight are students and teachers from our kindergarten program. Hunting Ridge is lucky enough to house general education sections as well as the district's transitional kindergarten program. This model allows us to be creative to meet the needs of our students. It reflects the highest level of collaboration with our general ed teachers and our special educators, and it brings students together not only from Hunting Ridge, but from schools across the district. Please join us in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I promise to follow the habits of being respectful, responsible, and embedded. My words and actions will be kind, positive, and encouraging throughout the day at Hunting Ridge School. Go Team Hawks!
Board of Education, thanks you for coming out tonight, leading us in the pledge, and they have this really neat light-up tent. I don't know if a kindergartner's ever got one of these.
That's a valid question.
Next item, my section, is recognition of the National Geographic Bee winner, and Dr. Schnorr is going to make that presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. President Babcock, Dr. Thompson, members of the Board of Education, and distinguished guests, it is my distinct honor to present to you this evening Ashke, who is a 7th grade student at Plum Grove Junior High. Ashke participated in the Geographic B and was the first out of 700 students to, and he won the B, and then he went on to represent District 15 in the state competition where he did very, very well. I think we all know that in the United States, we're not known for having really great geographic skills when it comes to being tested on where certain places are, but obviously Ashke is the exception to the rule, and we are extremely proud of him.
Excellent job. Congratulations. Thank you.
Oh, everybody should come. Oops. Okay, another round of applause for Ashke. We're also very fortunate this evening to be recognizing a large number of students who did extremely well in what's known as the IGSMA competition. IGSMA stands for Illinois Grade School Music Association for Solos and Ensembles, and it is a contest that's held across the state every year. And students in this competition can earn different types of scores from anywhere from being rated as good, excellent, superior, and perfect. And we are very fortunate in District 15 to have had as many students as you're going to see in a couple of moments who scored a perfect score. They're going to let you know their name, their school, and the instrument that they play that earned them that perfect score. Okay.
Good evening. My name is April Sky. I go to Winston Campus Junior High, and for my IGSMA solo, I played piano. Hi, my name is Roshni. I go to Winston Campus Junior High, and for my IGSMA solo, I played the violin.
Hi, my name is Uma Patel, and I play the violin, and I also go to Winston Campus Junior High.
Hi, my name is Kendall Smith. I go to Winston Campus Elementary, and I play cello.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Jordan. I'm the orchestra director at Winston Campus, and Jane Addams. We had 3 students who weren't able to make it tonight to receive their awards, but I want to acknowledge Anais Gonzalez for her viola performance, Julia Inman for her viola performance, and Emma Bogosian for her vocal solo.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn. I go here to Sunling Junior High School, and I play the piano.
My name is Avery. I go to Carl Sandburg Junior High, and I got a 1+ on my piano solo.
Hi, my name is Ria. I go to Hunting Ridge Elementary School, and for IGSMA, I play the piano solo.
Hello, my name is Samantha, and I go to Hunting Ridge, and I played a violin solo.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I go to Hunting Ridge, and I played a flute solo and duet.
Hi, my name is Julie, and I go to Hunting Ridge, and I played the flute duet.
My name is Julie Kirka, and I'm the band director at Hunting Ridge School and Marion Jordan. And we had 2 other Hunting Ridge students who were not able to make it tonight, both for flute solos, for Margaret Chang and Ashley Kim.
Hi, my name is Jason. I go to Pleasantville Elementary, and I got 1+ playing a trio.
I'm Mary Kempen. I'm the orchestra director at Virginia Lake, Lake Louise, Lincoln, and Pleasant Hill Elementary Schools. And I'm going to announce his trio, Andrew and Luke, who could not be here tonight to join him.
Hello, good evening. My name is Joe Ehrenberg, and I am the band director at Thomas Jefferson, Willow Bent, and Stuart R. Paddock.
My name is Elaine. I go to Thomas Jefferson Elementary School, and for my solo ensemble, I played the marimba.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Wise, and I am the music teacher at Lincoln School, and we will be featuring.
Hello, my name is Nadia, and I go to Lincoln Elementary, and for IGSMA, I sang My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music.
I'm Katie, and I went to Plum Grove Junior High, and I played the cello duet.
Hello, my name is Emily. I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I played a violin duet.
Hi, my name is Angelina, and I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I played the viola in a duet.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I played the flute. Hi, my name is Alina, and I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I play the flute.
Hi, my name is Stella. I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I play the flute.
My name is Noah. I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I play the clarinet.
Hi, I'm Brandon Park, and I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I play the clarinet.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I go to Plum Grove Junior High, and I play the violin.
Hi, my name is Julie Quitchow. I'm the orchestra director at Plum Grove Junior High, Hunting Ridge Elementary, and Whiteley Elementary. We also had 2 other violin solos in 8th grade and a violin quartet. And then we had a very unique trio in 7th grade with 2 violins and a harp. So wonderful job this year from Plum Grovians. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Linda Sullivan, and I teach band at Frank C. Whiteley in Pleasant Hill Schools. And we had 2 students who have previous engagements for tonight, Sophia K. and Anna Elisa H. And they each played flute solos and got their perfect scores.
Hi, my name is Grace. I go to Sanborn School, and I play the viola.
Look at all this perfection. This is incredibly impressive. All of you, all of the students, all of the teachers who work so hard to make sure that the kids get to where they are. And look at all the parents that we have out in the audience. As a band parent myself, I know what it takes to make sure that kids get to practice, they get home from practice, and that they actually do practice when they get home. It is definitely a family effort, so you take part in this accomplishment as well. Congratulations to all of you. Okay, guys, try and get in like 3 lines and have the shortest in the front so that we can get a picture of all of you, okay? Teachers, too.
Nice job, you guys.
So there's a table in front. Yeah, come on over here so we can get more of you in.
No hiding in the back, you guys.
You guys can do this, you're perfect.
I guess they don't want to.
That's right.
Taller people in the back.
No rabbit ears behind you, I promise.
It's an opportunity tonight. I know you might not know each other, but you will now. Okay, there we go. Make sure we can see all your faces. There you go. Good toes are good. Toes are good. Everybody good? Okay, one more round of applause. And he's going to give you a gift on behalf of the Board of Education. You guys did great.
It's good to see you. I'll tell you what. You know what? Oh, sure. Is what I hear. Man, just let you know, you guys, Mr. Holland, Mr. Holland. Good to see you. Well, as the students are leaving, I just wanted to highlight the fact that the arts have always been important to District 15. They're an important part of a well-rounded, wholesome educational experience. And you saw tonight that all these teachers are here doing great things. I talked to a couple of students, and some of them have only playing the instrument for 2 years, and they got a perfect score. So that's that just shows the dedication and the quality of teaching that goes on. So it's nice to have all those kids here. The next item in my section is to recognize 2 outstanding individuals. I had the fortune on Saturday to go to the Illinois PTA convention in Lisle, and this was a statewide convention. PTAs from all over the state were able to nominate candidates for Volunteer of the Year, Teacher of the Year, and Principal of the Year. And I learned at this convention that all the applications were viewed by people from out of state, and they were blind reviews. So they didn't know anything about the individual. They may not even know the names, but they evaluated all the applications. And for the entire state, we had both the Illinois Teacher of the Year and the Principal of the Year. So it was very exciting to be there. And these 2 individuals are very deserving. First person that I'd like to ask to come up is Mary Beth Knoppel. And the Lincoln PTA recognized her outstanding leadership and what she does in the building and what she does to make the largest school in the district really a nice place for kids and for parents. Mary Beth, you may not know, she is a former District 15 student. She's been a District 15 parent. She's the daughter of a mother who was an administrator in the district, a longtime principal. And she has been a part of the district for a very long time, since she moved here in 6th grade. And she's done some tremendous things that maybe she'll highlight at Lincoln that that made her I'm sure the obvious selection for Illinois Principal of the Year. Mary Beth?
Thank you, Dr. Thompson, Board of Education, President Peggy Babcock, and the Cabinet and guests. The award from the PTA is so meaningful to me because it's from parents who want what's best for their kids. As a former PTA president of Virginia Lake School, I value and appreciate what this award means. For me as a principal, my motivation is the same as parents. I work hard every day not only to keep my students safe, but to surround myself with a talented, committed staff who put kids first, always. I'm supported by an award-winning PTA who are readily available to work with my staff and me on behalf of children. It's a very rewarding job. Why? Where else do you go to get huge smiles and thank yous just from saying good morning to students in the hallways? Where else do you get hugs from primary students every day when they call me everything from Mrs. Kabobble to Mrs. Pineapple to Mrs. Apple? Where else can you find a grade 6 student who tells me she remembers when she saw me on the playground, when I saw her alone, and by simply bringing some girls over to meet her, she shared she'll never forget it? Where else can you find students who say they like my corny jokes? Where else can you find students who thank me for making them feel safe, telling me they feel like they're at home with my rules and feel like they can come to me when they have a problem? Where else can I see joy and pride on a teacher's face when I notice a note she's written on a student's desk that simply says, "Breathe, you can do this," during a park test? Where else can you see students whose parents need help and you watch your staff coach the parents, support the parents, get them paperwork for things like PAFA football or Celtic soccer or food, other programs? Where else can you feel the joy when you work with staff and PTA to help others? Where else can you plan a book study on reading strategies and 35 teachers come every Monday through January and February on their own time before school to plan for their literacy block? It could be any elementary school in District 15, but I'm humbled to be proud to be part of Lincoln School in Palatine,
But this happens every day to me and the parents, students, and staff I have the privilege of working every day. I'm so grateful. I want to thank the Lincoln PTA, President Stephanie Kiesler and Amy Hansen, who wrote such a lovely application. And I'd like to thank Dr. Thompson for his support and my amazing office staff and colleagues who support me. And I want to thank my family, especially my husband, Mark, who's always there to listen to me at the end of the day. I'm proud to be on this journey as an elementary school principal, and blessings to all of you as we work together for kids. Thank you.
Hang around, we're going to give you a pen and a photograph. Fantastic. The Illinois PTA Teacher of the Year is a teacher that I learned has been in the district for 17 years. He doesn't look old enough to be here. Mr. Jeff Zilke does a phenomenal job with the children he works with. I come to many of his concerts. He's always so good about inviting me, and I could just see the interaction that he has with the kids and the work that they do, and I could see the parents' appreciation for all the time he spends with them and the relationship he has with them. He's done a fabulous job. You saw many of his kids here tonight that he's worked with. He's taken the concert band, the symphonic band, consistently getting superior ratings at the IGSMA competition. And he's done some things with the jazz band that really are very neat, and kids really want to get into that jazz band and participate. So, Jeff, I didn't tell you you didn't have to say anything, but you're ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I'm prepared. President Babcock, members of the Board of Education, and Dr. Thompson, I was extremely honored and humbled to receive the Illinois PTA Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award at the PTA Convention in Lisle this past weekend. Thank you for taking the time to recognize me during tonight's meeting. I would also like to thank Christina Algrim, Julie Holdeman, and the Sunland Junior High School PTA for their nomination, as well as my outstanding principal, Jason Dietz, for his ongoing support. I also want to acknowledge my wife, Susan, and my parents, John and Diane, and my sister, Jacqueline, for their support and attendance here this evening. As you may or may not know, I myself am a product of District 15. I attended Lake Louise Elementary School and Winston Park Junior High School. I was also a proud member of the trumpet section in the Winston Park Concert and Jazz Bands. During my 17 years as the director of bands here at Sunling, I have promoted a strong work ethic in my students. I emphasize the value of hard work, dedication, teamwork, and pride in their achievements. To achieve the right balance, I work to foster positive attitudes, a sense of humor, and the confidence that making mistakes is just another opportunity to learn and grow. My philosophy of teaching encompasses a broad spectrum of elements. It has been documented that the study of music is an important component in a well-rounded education. As a band director, it is my responsibility to instill a love of music in my students and to equip them with the skills and abilities to become accomplished musicians. As an educator, I am strongly committed to preparing my students for success beyond the classroom. While directing my students' progression into a cohesive musical group, I also challenge them to reach their full potential as individuals by developing their critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Communication is an integral part of my job. I maintain an open-door policy with both students and parents, making myself accessible through a variety of media. I've expanded the band program to encourage and promote parental involvement in various capacities. And our band program depends on our parents for their assistance and support throughout the school year and recognizes their role in their achievements. As an educator, I'm accountable for the success of the students in my program. I can proudly cite the numerous award and commendations they have earned throughout my tenure as just one measure of success. However, my greatest satisfaction comes from the knowledge that the students will leave my program as accomplished musicians who have developed a lifelong appreciation of music. I can truly not imagine a more rewarding career or a better place to call home than District 15. Thank you so much.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Well earned. We've got our above and beyond pins for Jeff and for Mary Beth. This is Jeff's second above and beyond pin, certainly this year. So, but we only give these out on very rare occasions. We really appreciate what you've done, and this honor is certainly good. Thank you very much. The next item in my section is a presentation by a group of folks to talk about our one-to-one Chromebook initiative. So Matt, would you come up, please, and bring your co-presenters?
Yeah, just a few co-presenters this evening.
The mic is right in front of me. You have a seat for us? It's on the other side.
He wanted us to on the end, he said. Good evening, Dr. Thompson.
Okay, there's one chair that's very, very...
Thanks, Jason.
I'm sorry.
There you go. Now, here we go. That's right. All right. Good evening, Dr. Thompson, President Babcock, and members of the Board of Education. I just want to start off by saying that I am really proud to be here tonight and honored with such a talented, dedicated, and student-centered team. I have learned so much from you, all right, that I don't think I can ever adequately repay it. This is truly, in many ways, the future in District 15. And so with that being said, this group tonight is going to be providing you with information regarding our one-to-one Chromebook initiative that we will be recommending to the Board of Education on May 10th. So this gives you as the board and the larger community an opportunity to learn about all of the preparation efforts which went underway in order to make the recommendation that will be going before the board on May 10th possible. And that is for a recommendation for a one-to-one purchase, next slide, of approximately 4,400 Chromebooks, cases, and licensing to achieve a one-to-one student-to-device ratio in grades 6th, 7th, and 8th grade next year in the fall, for a tune of $981,000. So tonight, you're going to be hearing an overview with respect to our infrastructure and our readiness. We need to make sure that our foundation, that our house, electronically, hardware, software, etc., is in order. So you're going to learn a little bit about that. Thank you, Dr. Thompson. By the way, I do think I had technology in this district. So, and here I am talking about the Chromebooks. Like I said, the future leadership of District 15, to my right, your left, people. Thank you. So you're going to be learning about our technology infrastructure and our readiness. Our 2-year pilot. This was not just a 1-year thing. We've taken a slow to move fast approach with respect to this because it is a considerable investment, and we need to make sure that our kids are ready for it, that our families are ready for it, and then the grown-ups, our staff who will be working with our kids are ready for it. We're going to talk about our optional protection plan that we are going to be able to provide our parents if they're interested in protecting this learning tool and investment. And then we're going to close up with how Chromebooks have impacted teaching and learning from the principal's perspective and a teacher's perspective. So I've talked a little bit about team, and I really think that this African proverb or saying, which I shamelessly lifted from Dr. Wolfel, really resonates in terms of honoring the essence of the work that this group and so many other people have done. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. All right, this group is going to go far because they are going together. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the 60 Chromebook pilot teachers, the students that have been a part of the pilot, the parents that have supported the pilot, all right, as well as Mrs. Carol Gajewski. She's our technology manager in the district. Dave Kieshenberg is going to be stepping in for her this evening. This really wouldn't have been possible if a big idea guy like me, doesn't have somebody like Carol to make sure that it's in the budget, all right, and that, the wires and the switches and the bandwidth and everything that needs to occur occurs. And so she's not with us tonight. She's here in spirit. Dave's here to kind of take it away from there. So Dave, here you go.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening. My name is Dave Kieshenberg. I work in the Technology Services Department, and we are constantly reviewing technology requirements to meet curriculum and operational objectives. And I have a 5-year plan, and we're always looking ahead. And the one-to-one initiative has fit into those plans regarding the infrastructure of the district's hardware, the software, and services. So regarding hardware, we knew at the beginning of the pilot that we needed to increase the district's bandwidth, or the connection speed that can be transmitted between buildings and to the internet. We've increased the bandwidth to 1 gigabit per second for our wide area network and our transport to the internet. Number 2, we finished our installation and upgrade of our network switches to handle the transmission of data inside the buildings. This also allows for growth of up to 10 gigabit per second speeds in the future. And 3rd, we've enhanced the wireless coverage to all classrooms in the district and enhanced coverage in the multi-purpose rooms of each building. From a software standpoint, we've been a Google Apps for Education district for a number of years, now called G Suite for Education, and have been following best practices to set up and administer our Google domain through the Google Admin Console. We've also restructured our file inventory system and aligned it with the Google Admin Console to identify and track the Chromebooks and the students that use them. The services we've implemented this year to ensure our readiness for the one-to-one initiative include an audit performed on the wireless network by an outside company and an audit on our Google Admin Console by a K-12 Google support company called Amplified IT on how to configure our operations and management settings for ease of use and automation. And as far as the professional development, our department is certified in Lenovo repair for the over 4,000 Lenovo Chromebooks we currently have in district. And we will be getting reimbursed for those repairs from Lenovo. We've been through the Google Admin Console certification training, and our lead network engineer has completed Cisco engineer training. Our department is excited about the work we've done on the infrastructure side, and we feel prepared and ready for the one-to-one rollout.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Mollenhauer, and I'm one of the instructional technology coordinators for the district. This is my 3rd year in this position, and prior to this, I was the LRC director at Sanborn School for 8 years. So I'm going to be talking to you about our pilot and our journey to how we got here with our Chromebooks. So the year previous to this, 2015 fall, we started with a small group of 5 teachers who piloted Chromebooks one-to-one in their classrooms. During that time, we gave students, those parents, the teachers, and the principals a survey. Based on those survey results, we were able to justify doing an expanded pilot district-wide in every building. So prior to this year, we created an application. Teachers were able to apply to be part of this one-to-one pilot. We had 126 teachers apply, and we were able to choose 55 teachers to pilot the devices. So in this year, 2016-17, we've had 60 teachers piloting these devices in their classrooms. Once again, we gave the survey to those teachers, the students and parents, and the administrators. We had an incredible number of results come in. We had almost 1,700 students take the survey. We had over 380 parents respond. And basically what we found, the results were telling us that Chromebooks are helping us collaborate. They're helping students and teachers communicate. They're powerful tools that students find fun and engaging. Teachers are able to individualize lessons, differentiate their lesson plans and learning, and principals said that it decreased complications when it came to state testing. So overall, we found these to be important and really meaningful tools for our students. That's a little bit about the pilot and how we got to where we are, and our next topic is going to be supporting staff and professional development.
Good evening. My name is Colleen Syke. I am also an instructional technology coordinator. I have been in the district for 15 years. Previously, I was a fourth grade teacher at Virginia Lake and also a learning resource teacher at Sanborn School as well. I'm going to be talking about how we are supporting our staff and how we move forward to supporting our staff with technology. In August, we had our first ever Google Summit. The theme was, I innovate, what's your superpower? This was totally voluntary, and it was right before the school year started. We had over 300 teachers attend this exciting event. And the teachers really valued it, and we're actually going to have our second one in this upcoming August, and I'll talk about that a little later. So as far as supporting staff, we have teachers that were able to request instructional technology coordinator to meet on early release Fridays. We have met with whole staff, we've met with individuals, we've met with team members on early release Fridays, but we are also available to meet anytime throughout the school day to support them as well as to support their students. We also, once a month, have G Suite workshops. Those are held at ESC, and we have great attendance in that, and again, the teachers really value those workshops as well. We also send out e-newsletters throughout the school year with lots of great information, lots of tips and new tricks and everything for teachers to see. We have created a Google Plus community, and that's kind of like a social networking for teachers where they can post resources, they can ask questions, they can share their ideas to anyone, any of their peers throughout District 15. We also have created an instructional technology website that has a lot of how-to videos and, again, resources for teachers. May 4th, we have an institute coming up. We are, again, super excited because we are going to have a mini technology conference. This is going to be for our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers, and it's going to be about approximately 324 teachers that are going to be attending this. The sessions are going to completely vary to very simple, how do I use this Chromebook, to digital differentiation, to what do I do with my special ed students, or how do I support my ELL students with this Chromebook. So really, it's really covering a wide range of sessions, so really everyone should find value in any of the sessions. Two of our teachers this summer are going to be having a Google Boot Camp. Mrs. Gembula is here with us tonight. She is one of those teachers that is going to be sponsoring that. What Google Boot Camp is for anyone who wants to be certified in Google Certification Level 1. So that's going to be right after school gets out, and we have presented that today to our pilot teachers, and already the session's almost full, so that's going to be great as well. So we're looking forward to that opportunity for the teachers as well. And finally, we will have our second annual Innovative Summit, and we're going to stick with the theme, I Innovate, What's Your Superpower? Since we had 300 last year, we're really hoping for more this year, and to have, again, a wide range of sessions for all of our teachers to attend. So that is how we have supported our teachers with technology, and that we will be continuing that as well.
Thank you. My name is Jason Dietz. I'm the principal here at Sunling Junior High, and I have been a part of this Chromebook initiative since day one, I believe, when we brought Jen Buell on board to pilot this. So I've been very invested in this for our school and for the district. I have been a part of this committee and led with others, administrators, teachers, and other people within the district, within technology, to run through committees that I'm going to talk about right now. One of those is the frequently asked question page. Obviously, as we're moving forward, there are lots of questions that we are already aware of, and lots of questions that we still have to figure out. So we have compiled a list of questions that we've seen from other school districts in the area who have gone through this pilot, and we are using our very own from feedback that we have received from not only the administration, but the teaching staffs of many of our schools to put together a comprehensive frequently asked question page, which is in production right now and should be ready to roll very, very soon following additional feedback to have ready for our staffs, our students, and our parents as we roll through this initiative. The other piece that we've been working on is a responsible use contract. Obviously, we want to make sure that our parents and our students understand what these devices can do and what they shouldn't do, as well as how to take care of them appropriately. So myself, as well as Christy Semajedny from Jane Addams, as well as a variety of other administration across the district and teachers and technology staff, got together to put together a responsible use contract. Again, we utilized school districts in the area who have already gone through this, and then we have developed and made it so that it was comprehensive and it fit not only our District 15 policies, but our procedures as well. We are very, very close to getting that finalized. I went to our pilot teachers today for some additional feedback, and we hope to have that ready to roll so that it will be a part of our summer mailing to go home to our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade parents as we begin this journey together.
Good evening. My name is Laura Swanland, and I am the coordinator for PBIS, RTI, and Psychological Services. And one of the ways that we'll be supporting students and parents with the Chromebooks is through teaching, modeling, and reinforcing digital citizenship. And how we will be doing this is by aligning it within our Positive Behavior Intervention Support Systems, or PBIS. PBIS is a system that's within all of our buildings in which we teach students and reinforce and model how to be respectful, responsible, and safe. And our PBIS systems have been recognized for several years at the state and the national level for our quality of implementation of this system. So there was a digital citizenship committee that worked on how we can incorporate technology and digital citizenship within this PBIS system, meaning how are we going to help ensure that students understand and are reinforced for being safe and responsible and respectful in their use of technology. So we have come up with the structure of clear expectations, lessons for teachers, and just a system for the schools to easily integrate it with what is already known for the students and the staff and the parents and community. The PBIS Leadership District team has given feedback on this, as well as the teachers within the district, so that when we start the school year, we start off right away with having positive expectations for how to be responsible citizens online.
Regarding content filtering in district and while the Chromebooks are at home with the students, we've been providing internet content filtering or protecting students from inappropriate content for many years. And although the content filters are highly effective at blocking inappropriate material on the internet, they're not 100% effective. We work with the schools, continually fine-tuning the district content filter and follow recommendations from SIPA, the Children's Internet Protection Act, and we maintain up-to-date lists and categories of blocked sites. So we will also be extending a content filtering system, or solution rather, to the district Chromebooks that will be going home with the students. So they'll have a similar experience of protection while off the district network. We have reviewed and tested 3 solutions, and we'll have a recommendation ready for the board by May 10th for an at-home content filtering solution.
And we recognize also that there's going to be some students and families in the district that may experience connectivity issues for a variety of reasons, including income. And so one of the things that we did when we were selecting devices as we were considering one-to-one was a device that would allow us to have a degree of offline functionality. The Chromebook allows users, kids, adults, etc., in certain applications in G Suites, like their equivalent of Word, and then not Word, Jason shaking his head. All right, so Google Docs, Google Sheets, etc., to allow students to work offline, and then when they do get connected to a network, all right, it uploads into the cloud. So that was one of the reasons that we chose Chromebooks to assist those students whose families may have difficulty providing online online internet access at home. The other things that we've done is in the frequently asked questions that Jason talked about, we will be providing links for families and kids in terms of areas within the communities, the 4 to 5 communities that comprise District 15 that offer free Wi-Fi. So that's going to be an important resource, coupled with providing families with information from vendors like Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, et cetera, that offer programs for high-speed, low-cost internet programs for qualifying families. So that's how we're going to support parents and begin supporting parents and students when connectivity issues exist. In terms of the optional protection plan, this is a learning tool. It's a very, very, very powerful learning tool that will allow kids to collaborate, to create content, to network, at unprecedented levels. And so it's going to be important that we provide our families, because accidents will happen. Accidents will, with an optional protection plan. Many school districts in the area have done just that with respect to their one-to-one rollouts. I've included a chart or a table with respect to several districts in the area that have done that in terms of their annual fees, their claims and deductibles per incidence, and then also the maximum claim every year. And as you can see when we look at this, it's pretty much every district surrounding us, 21, 54, 25, 59, and then our feeder high school districts, 211, I did not include 214, they're one-to-one as well. They are all one-to-one school districts. And it's put us in a position as a district where we're almost ahead by being behind. We are really learning, not only from our pilot teachers and our kids. Our kids are really our teachers on this, as well as our pilot teachers. But we're learning from experiences from other districts, including a former colleague of mine, or ours, who's a parent in the district, who was in 21 and is now in Maine Township, Dr. Jason Klein, who's actually in the audience tonight, hopefully to show us support, for this effort. So, we are constantly learning from others. We are open to learn. None of us are as smart as all of us, and we will consider information as it is extended to us to make our implementation the best it can be, because quite frankly, our kids, our staff, and our parents and the administrators deserve it. So in terms of what our optional plan is that we're going to be recommending, it's a $25 annual non-refundable fee for parents, $20 deductible per claim, with the maximum coverage per year of $220. And if you look back at the previous slide, in terms of the table, it falls right in line with what our neighboring districts are doing that have Chromebooks. District 211 has a higher rate due to the fact that they're using a more expensive device, the iPad. And so now the moment we've all been waiting for, me stopping to talk. All right, I'm going to pass this microphone down so that you can hear firsthand from a principal who's been with us from ground zero, all right, and then a teacher in terms of the experience about how Chromebooks have impacted the classroom.
Thank you, Matt. So obviously you've heard a lot about the technical side, but I'm going to share a little bit about how it's changed, how we do business here at Sundling. And you'll hear a lot about Sundling and a lot about Jen Bulow as I go through this. I do want to acknowledge that although I'm here sharing about our school and our teacher, there are amazing things very similar to this going out throughout our whole entire district. I've seen it in professional development opportunities. I've seen it sitting on committees with some of these teachers, and what they're doing is absolutely amazing. So I want to acknowledge that, even though I'm going to brag a little bit about my own today. So I will say that Google and Chromebooks have changed dramatically what we do here in school. It changed the way we're communicating with each other. It is a constant ability to access learning from anywhere, as Dr. Barbini said, and the creativity and innovation that is going on a regular basis is absolutely amazing. I'm going to share two quick examples. One is the Genius Hour projects that Mrs. Bulow and some of our other teachers run through the use of Google Suites. And what we see is, and what I've seen in my office, is a handful of kids that come down through Genius Hour and are working on amazing projects, not only for our school but our community. And they come down to me with these wonderful ideas after doing research and writing about them and working collaboratively with others online to create these amazing projects that some have taken off, where they've raised hundreds or even thousands of dollars for charities, or they've done some work in our community that's absolutely amazing. That's one example. Another example that I witnessed this week was our art students and Miss Mason. I don't know if you've been out in the hallway, but we have a new elevator out there in a very bare hall leading into that. And I proposed to our art teacher to look into the possibility of painting some murals on there. I met with a group of students this week, as well as Ms. Mason, who used the Chromebooks and G Suites to provide slides and information and other things that they put together by scale on ways to enhance that area. I listened to the students not only present that information to me, back it up, and then try to pitch their idea for us to move forward with it. It was absolutely amazing, and a lot of it was on their own, but a lot of it was through the use of technology. And that was something that really stuck out to me this week, and I was glad that it happened before this meeting. As far as with our staff, we are reducing our carbon footprint. With the work that we're doing as far as online, as opposed to printing out agendas and printing out papers for our agendas, can now all be done online. My staff meetings, for example, are completely paperless most days, but they are completely paperless unless there's a document that's needed. Everything can be viewed at that meeting or after the meeting or even prior to the meeting without ever touching a piece of paper. So that's one big way. It's a better way to communicate. The organization piece that I talked about, working from anywhere. It's provided leadership opportunities to our staff members, STEAM or STEM initiatives that we've been working on, and of course the creativity and innovation that goes behind it. Now to pass along the microphone to Jen, but before I do, I want to talk a little bit about her and why she's here with us today. Jen is someone who's been instrumental in the process in this pilot from the beginning. She is a lead one-on-one pilot teacher from the very beginning in District 15 at Sundling. She has developed and presented PD to our staff. She's become a Google certified teacher. She's attended and presented at the Google Summit in Wisconsin and the ICE conference in Illinois. She will be representing Sundling in District 15 very, very soon at the Illinois Tech 2017 opportunity in Springfield, Illinois, where we're one of 90 schools across the state of Illinois of 800 districts, if I have my numbers correct. She applied an application, and she will be taking 2 students, as well as me, on a journey down to Springfield to talk about key technology. There will be key technology ambassadors in hopes and in an effort to have our state legislators support technology funding for the state of Illinois. So I commend her on that, and it would not be, it would be a disservice if I didn't say that without passing the mic to her and letting her finish up this work that we've done. So here you go, Jen.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's a very nice introduction. So as you said, I'm Jen Bulow. I'm an 8th grade writing teacher here at Sundling. This board in front of me knows that I could go on and on about the importance of integrating technology in our classrooms. So I will try to keep it brief and stick to a behind the scenes look at what it's like to actually use these Chromebooks. So as I said, I've been doing this for 2 years. I kind of dove in head first and went completely paperless in my classroom. We utilize the Chromebooks all day, every day in my writing classroom. And I love a good tech gadget as much as the next guy, probably more, but this is the first device that I can say that came into my classroom that forever changed teaching and learning for every student in my classroom for the better. So these students are no longer limited to the 4 walls of my classroom. They're no longer limited to the 6 hours I see them in a day. They're no longer limited to myself as the sole resource in the classroom, the one point of expertise. They have access to all that information in front of them. They send me questions and comments and concerns all day, every day, wherever I am, much to the chagrin of my family, but it's wonderful, and they get that continuous feedback on their work. It's no longer an arbitrary grade on the end of an assignment. They always know where they are and what they can do to improve, and that's because of these apps. That's because of utilizing the Chromebooks and their ability to get that streamlined feedback back and forth. They have those resources available just, it's a click away. So those students always have a place to go. They're working at their own pace. Everyone has the ability to move to the next step when they're ready. So there's no transition time in my classroom. You know, what that means for the typical student is that they learn more, they grow more, they can create more in my classroom every single day. But what that means for struggling learners, for the students who are too shy or have been too shy to participate in group discussions, for students whose grasp of the content or of the English language may not be at par with their peers, is that we are providing an avenue for their voice to be heard. And I see this every day in my classroom, but I'll just share a somewhat recent example. I have an 8th grade student who is a lovely girl. She struggles to attend school. She comes from a difficult home life. She is an English language learner and was not comfortable sharing her writing in classrooms before now. We share anonymously a lot in our classroom to get feedback, and that's one of the benefits of G Suite. That's one of the benefits of being able to put things out there for each other and to seek feedback and to still remain a little bit anonymous in the process. And so she had shared a piece of her writing, a really powerful hook she had written about deportation, and her classmates were floored. I mean, they were absolutely amazed. They had no idea who wrote it, and they were dying to know. I mean, we're very respectful of each other's privacy, but they wanted someone to claim it. And she very begrudgingly sort of gave up that it was hers, and then continued to go forth and share the rest of her piece with her classmates. It was amazing to see. It was amazing for all of us to be a part of, but it was also the first time I've seen her take a leadership role and see herself as a writer, as a learner, as a leader in this school and in our classroom. And I think for students like her, we can't underestimate the power that this device has. I didn't do that. You know, I gave them the Chromebook, I gave them the apps, and I stepped away. You know, I let them do what they're good at, which is to support their peers and to be a powerful force for each other in collaboration with these devices. So with that, I invite you all to my classroom any day, every day, to see these in effect with students, to see the power and the purpose that this decision really has on this district. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
And then I'd like to just add something in closing. I think one of the challenges for the 21st century educator, educational leader, and school board member is how to allocate finite resources. At the beginning of this presentation, I made mention of the fact that the recommendation that's going to be going before the board on May 10th is a recommendation that's going to cost $980,000, just shy of $1 million. You can't ask a board for that unless you've done your homework. People in this room have heard me say before, you can't often, if you're going to do things really well, build the airplane while flying it. We are not building the airplane while we're flying it. This has taken 2 years to get to this point. We've gone slow to move fast. Yeah, are we going to learn? Is there going to be an implementation dip here and there? Absolutely. But in terms of our infrastructure, our professional development, our talented staff and leadership, you know, I am highly confident, all right, that this recommendation is the right thing to do at the right time, and it will benefit our students. And it's largely due to the leadership of the individuals that are here today. Their leadership, their dedication, their care, and their student-centeredness to kids is evident. Once again, I want to personally thank you. It is an honor to work with you and learn from you. And with that being said, we're at questions now.
Did you find the reliability of the equipment, the hardware, to be as good as the manufacturer claimed it to be?
Yeah, we ordered for the first round of the pilot about 350, 400 Lenovo devices. And then for this past year, for the extended pilot, about 3,500 devices. And we did have some issues with keyboards. Lenovo owned up to that, and they helped us address that issue. And that was basically about it. Minimal screens, minimal system boards. There's a rotating camera on that the teachers like it well. We were, not sure about that. That's all held up very well. And then we went through the process to become a self-maintainer with Lenovo, and know the product very well now. Lenovo is one of the Chromebooks that's out for bid now too, so remains to be seen if we need to become a self-maintainer for the next vendor.
Thank you.
My hat's off to all of you for your dedication to it. If you get through to the legislature, good luck with that. That'd be great. I saw some of the districts on there. Does this look like it's going to be, I know 21 and 54 are close and 25 is close. Does this look like it's going to be a statewide? Do you think this will go statewide as we continue to work with this? Is it the wave of the future?
You know what, I'm going to actually pass this mic down to our folks on this end of the table who are in ICE, and who, really are a part of this.
So we'll start with you, Kelly.
Many districts that we have visited and contacted throughout the state, as well as other districts that we've even heard of in other states, seen at presentations and different conferences. This is the wave of the future. Having one-to-one devices where the devices come into the classrooms instead of students going into certain rooms to use technology is where the future of student teaching and learning is going.
I see it at 211. I've got a daughter there, and she's on her Chromebook or whatever it may be all night long, and it's amazing what they can do. So my hat's off to everyone. Good luck with everything.
A question for you with, as far as your teachers are concerned. I mean, there are techies and there are people who are not so technical, me being the latter. How have they adapted to that? I mean, I know that some teachers can be reticent of taking on new technology. They've done it their way for a long time. Have they readily accepted it? Is it easy enough to use for them?
Definitely.
To that?
There is a learning curve to it, and even just switching from, regular email into Google Apps, there's a learning curve. Our message is go slow, baby steps into it. Our pilot teachers are wonderful resources at the school level, as well as they can reach out to us, and we do meetings and lunch meetings, after school meetings, before school, just kind of doing those workshops. A lot of teachers who are hesitant are attending those workshops once a month, and they really leave that saying, thank you so much, I have so many different resources. So we are trying to reach them, those people who are very hesitant, and we'll get there eventually. Like I said, there is definitely a learning curve, but just having those events, the May Institute in place, the August Google Summit in place to get those excited and having them learn one little thing that they can take back to their classroom.
Well, you've gotten rave reviews from all of the teachers and from Chromebooks. Has it picked a collaboration with the students? It seemed that when you're in the classroom, the students are working more together on different projects using the Chromebooks. Is that?
Sure. I think that oftentimes we think of technology as, putting it in front of the student, and it's a very isolating device. And I think it's the opposite with Chromebooks. With this G Suite, really everything encourages collaboration, sharing, and so students are constantly able to access each other's work, to provide feedback, can work together collaboratively on the same document at the same time, which was something that really wasn't offered with your typical Microsoft Office program. So I think you are going to see more collaboration with students, both inside of the classroom and outside. So imagine them all in their homes at night working together on the same project on their own individual devices. And then just to echo what Dr. Barbini said before about teachers being a little bit hesitant, or, we have spent the last few years really trying to build up their capacity. We've done a lot of staff meeting trainings, and they've had a lot of opportunities to seek their resources and also just to learn piecemeal over the last few years. So I think you're looking at a staff that's prepared for this transition.
Is this something that'll you're going to competitively bid, I assume? And my question really relates: are there multiple vendors, and will the bidding actually be competitive?
Sure. We received, I think it was 14 responses to the bid.
Oh, that's terrific.
It would include devices, cases, extended warranties. I think we had 4 different models of the Chromebook, number of cases, and then some extended warranty options as well.
Thank you.
And today, our technology coordinators, so Kyle, Kelly, and Colleen, presented and worked with our pilot teachers. Jen is one of our pilot teachers, as you know, and one of the things that we did is we had the pilot teachers evaluate those devices and give us some feedback electronically so that we're making the best choice and the most informed decision based on a competitive field when we come to the board on May 10th. We're also going to be extending the same opportunity for our building principals to evaluate those devices and give us feedback too. This way we're getting it from the pilot teachers and we're also getting it from our building administrators.
Thank you.
Matt, just a quick question about the pilot program. Have you seen, because I know it's everyone's applying to be one of the pilot teachers. Are you seeing a good cross-section of the district teachers? I'm just thinking about the people that are participating in this program with rave reviews. If, it's a certain, certain parts of the district that are more involved in the pilot versus other parts, do we have a good cross-section is, I guess, the question.
I'm going to let Kelly handle this one.
Thank you. So that's an excellent question. We have teachers in every one of our 20 buildings piloting these devices as one-to-one in their classrooms. We have ELL teachers, special ed teachers, 6th grade teachers, 5th grade teachers, multi-age teachers, gifted teachers, junior high content area teachers, PE teachers, music teachers. We have a very wide range. We made sure of that when we selected through the application process the best of the best, and they're all doing fabulous. They love it.
Yeah, I was just at the Google headquarters just because a friend of mine works there, and I mean, it's truly that you look at their offices, you would think that they're going to be the most advanced. They don't even have any phones. I mean, you go into all the executive rooms and there's no phone. So I certainly think it's the wave of not only the wave of the future, the wave of the right now, really. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, to redeem myself after the document, instead of, this, that, and the other comment earlier, I mean, what they're doing is you're right, Zubair, they've taken out the phones and they're using Google Chat and Hangouts as their method of communicating built into a free, application and learning and content creation and collaboration platform. It's wonderful.
Well, Matt, I commend the team. Excellent work and very convincing about the way you've done this and the impact it's having on kids. It's fabulous. I think you've sold that part of it. I think the nearly $1 million expenditure, maybe when you come back in May, you could show what the budget's been over the course of the years. I know that we've switched from buying desktop computers in a single room for kids to go access now to devices that they can take with them and use, ubiquitously all over the place at home and things. So I think that for the board next time, they need to have kind of an understanding of the budget. I know that some years we spend less, some years we spend more, and they could show that to them when you come back in May. And then, Dave, I don't know if any of this is being subsidized by the E-rate, money that we get. I think that the board should know how much money we get from the federal government for our E-rate and how that is kind of used in this program as well. So, but excellent job. Thank you for everything you've done, and it's very exciting.
One thing maybe also to consider would be the cost savings that could be recognized by going paperless with technology. That could be another, and I'm sure you probably don't have that number today, but that could be an interesting fact to present as well.
Yeah. I think one more fact that would be good to know is your estimation of how many additional Chromebooks you would need to purchase each year, and if there would be a turnover and how that would look, just some kind of estimate or projection.
Right. We've built in a refresh cycle into this. It's a part of our 5-year technology budget. But as Dr. Thompson had indicated, I'll bring that to the May board meeting. This has been something that we've planned for, and we've been able to capture some funds by reallocating based on our existing iPads. Our existing iPads were due for refreshment this year, or actually next year, at $1.5 million for over 3,000 district-issued iPads. We decided to use 1 million of that 1.5 million, all right, to fund the Chromebook piece initially, and then we built in, a refreshment cycle as kids come in, as new 6th graders come in and 8th graders come out. We'll present all of that in May, plus the E-rate piece as well. So note to selves, right, Dave? We'll get it done.
There's no doubt you're very thoughtful here. I just think it would benefit the May board to know all of that.
Absolutely.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next item in my section is a quick presentation on our math and science materials purchase. And so Dr. Schnorr is going to come up and share a little bit about that.
Is this working or no? It does? Okay. Now I can tell. Okay, good evening again. I just want to update everyone on the curriculum materials adoption that we've been going through in the Department of Instruction over the last 2.5 years. In the fall of 15-16, after a lot of listening and a lot of going to our schools and talking to teachers, it became very obvious to me that it was time to start looking very specifically at the math materials that we were providing to our teachers to be able to instruct our students. So the first thing that we did that was systemic was to survey our teachers about what kind of math materials they were using across the board to instruct our students. And it became very obvious very quickly that there was an extreme lack of consistency in the materials that we were using with our kids. And that goes from grades K all the way up through grade 8 and into some of the high school materials, because some of our junior high students in the area of math really excel and we're needing high school level instructional materials. So to that end, you guys approved the Envision Math program for grades K through 6 last school year. What I'm going to be asking for you to approve tonight is the Envision Math program for grades 7 and 8. Now, why the split? Why didn't we do the 7-8 adoption last year when we did K through 5? Well, the reason for that is we did an extended pilot for junior high because the Envision program in its entirety was not completed. So the junior high teachers, all of the junior highs, used Go Math by Houghton Mifflin during last school year and implemented a full year of Envision, or what is left of a full year of the Envision program this year. Envision is a product of Pearson. Both of the programs were very highly regarded. We used our math committee to determine 2 programs that we were going to pilot, and those were the products that were chosen. Go Math is used by some of our area districts, including District 54. Envision is used by District 62 and several other districts as well. When we tested our students, we used the map data, the fall to winter map data, to measure the students' growth when they were participating in the pilot. And I'm happy to say that both of the programs were reputable, and Go Math and Envision Math were commensurate with regard to student growth. What really won us over with regard especially to the 7-8 is the consistency of programming that we could give our students who are with us from kindergarten through 8th grade, with a consistent program as well as the outstanding customer service that we received from Pearson. We had surveys of staff. We, like I said, we looked at Envision math growth, and you also have a screencast included in your board materials that really explain the detail with which both of the programs and the recommendation for adoption were evaluated. Moving on to science, last year we asked you to support an adoption of curriculum materials in grades 6, 7, and 8, which you did. That implementation is going extremely well. We're very proud to say that we're able to offer our students at grades 6, 7, and 8 a very rich and deep experience in the next generation science standards, including a full year of life science, a full year of physical science, and a full year of earth science before they ever leave District 15, which gives them a really solid base for their science endeavors when they get to high school. So that is in place for implementation. That's already been adopted. We needed to start looking at our materials for science for grades 1 through 5. We're not able, without all-day kindergarten, to really say that we offer science at kindergarten at this time, but we are implementing science at grades 1 through 5, and the materials were very old. The kits that the teachers were using, not everything had all of the pieces anymore. There were not books that went along with the kits. They were simply just kits and experiments, and the teachers were really asking for a more structured approach, but they simultaneously were asking to continue the hands-on opportunities that the kids had. Kids really like science because they're actually doing something as opposed to the traditional, way of teaching, the sit and get. They were up and they were moving around and they were working together. And to that end, we looked at 2 different programs. We looked at Pearson's Interactive Science, and we also looked at the FOSS Science, which is from the publisher called Delta. And our teachers, it was not as big as the math pilot, but the teachers did pilot both of those programs over the course of this year. And we're happy to say that the feedback from both students and staff was that they wanted to continue with the FOSS program, and specifically that they wanted to make sure that they were able to address the standards with not only hands-on activities, but a textbook that could also support what they wanted to be doing in the classroom. So, to that end, we're going to be asking you tonight to approve materials for science in grades 1 through 5 and math materials in grades 7 and 8. And I'll take questions if anybody has them.
Has there been any feedback from parents as far as, I don't understand I heard a lot of it. I don't understand how to do the math anymore, which is probably good. The students can do it themselves. But what's been the feedback?
We have had some minimal feedback from parents that raised concerns about how the math looks different and why are we writing so much in math now. But that's really the philosophy behind the Common Core State Standards for Mathematics, is that students should be engaging in math talk, and that they should be able to explain why they're doing what they're doing rather than simply computing, 2 plus 5.
And the teachers have been very accepting of it?
Yes, it took a little while because it was very different. Our instructional coaches have been instrumental in helping our teachers become acclimated and becoming very comfortable with the implementation of the program. We have implemented a lesson plan framework district-wide that includes a solve and share, which is a problem that starts the lesson every day so that the students, they solve it together. There's a problem that they're all collectively solving. There are videos that explain the solve and share and the lesson in addition to what the teacher is able to do, so that they can have a visual representation beyond what the teacher is able to do in the classroom. And then there's time for guided practice before they go home. What we have learned, the Department of Instruction has been embarking upon, similar to what President Babcock is doing, is going out to all of the schools and doing listening tours on Friday afternoons for teachers who voluntarily come during their team plan time to talk to us. And something that we're going to be putting in place next year as a result of what we learned is that we're going to be extending the math block by 15 minutes. With the new math program, they felt that they would really be able to hit a home run, if you will, if they were able to have 15 more minutes of math instruction. So we've been working with the elementary principals to rearrange their schedules and try and make that happen at all of the buildings.
Has there been any coordination with, you put out some of these, the new materials and your new curriculums with the new standards and everything like that, but with the Department of Technology that we just heard from, I just figured that there would be some sort of coordination between the two as you come up with what materials you're recommending to us, how they would fit in with the way the technology is headed.
Absolutely. Dr. Barbine and I work very closely together, and as a matter of fact, the 2 instructional technology coordinators are actually members of the Department of Instruction. They're in our department. Okay. So we're all very connected with regard to what we do with students, as well as Dr. Laura Swanlin, who is our PBIS coordinator, and we definitely work really, really well together, and that's part of what the instructional technology coordinators do on their Friday afternoons, and DOI sets the calendar for the Friday afternoon provisions, as well as the teacher time menu, so the teachers can look at a menu of things that they might ask DOI to do. And they're also in coordination with our instructional coaches. So the instructional technology coordinators and the instructional coaches meet monthly so that we make sure we have a really coordinated approach in what we do.
A lot of meetings.
The other thing, Zubair, what Dr. Schnorr has done is ensured that the Common Core state standards and the next generation science standards really expect technology to be incorporated into the curriculum. And so this is a nice dovetail to have these Chromebooks available for the science curriculum in 6th, 7th, and 8th particularly, that's highly dependent upon technology. So I think there's really great coordination.
That's awesome. Good.
So I know this is part of a 5-year curriculum review cycle, and we're on target. You're doing a great job, and excited that the pilot programs have been so successful, and teachers have selected a good program to use, and we're excited to see them in effect next year.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last item in my section is just a quick revisit to the reconfiguration of our communications department. Jessica and Zubair were on the committee, as was Jen Bulow, who was here as a part of the technology team. She was also on our committee, our communications committee. I know that the board and the community really would want the best communication possible. We want two-way communication. And last meeting, I brought to you the notion of creating a high-level person that's a professional in the PR and communications area to come into the district and kind of spearhead our efforts in order to facilitate better, more efficient, more frequent communications with all stakeholders in the district. We had it out there for a month for people to kind of respond. Really didn't get much response. I think people felt that it was something that would benefit the district. I showed you some comparative districts and the staff that they have, the money that they spend in their communications department, and I think that you can draw the conclusion that I did, which is that we were pretty understaffed when we compare ourselves to other places immediately surrounding us in similar districts. And I think the creation of a chief communication officer for the district is not going to really increase the budget very significantly. We had 2 positions in the district, and we also had this service, this Let's Talk service, that hasn't been very widely used. I think, Julie, we've had maybe 2 a month on average, something like that over the course of the 2 years. Hasn't it been something like that?
If you pull out the referendum spike in the late summer where we seemed, it probably does average 2 a month.
And so just 2, and the cost of that annual service is over $30,000. So we're eliminating that service, discontinuing our contract with them, and we think that it'll be a slight increase in cost to our budget to have this chief communication officer, but I think it's going to be well worth it. And so all I was hoping from you tonight was the go-ahead to post the position, and then once we do the interviews and find a candidate, we'll bring it back to the board for approval for that position.
Do you need consensus on that now?
Sure. I mean, unless, yeah.
Just as a matter of reference, years ago, we did have a department. We had Bob Tenzar, I think was his name, who was here for, and that's exactly what he did. And so, I think it's a great idea to move forward with it.
Yeah, I think
made a big difference.
We've been trying to be really prudent with our finances, and I think we've cut back in some areas over the years. And I think that we realized that maybe this area cutting back was not that beneficial. We need some professional to really help us make sure we engage the community in a real powerful way.
Yeah, and I think that from the meetings that we've had in the committee, our social media presence has to be a lot better. And I think that the methods that we're taking to communicate, some of them are methods that have been there for a long time. We have a website, but it just seems that, to me, to have somebody with the requisite skills in this area to be in charge of a department, so there's a more, kind of a cohesive communication going out to parents and everybody through whether it be social media or not. It's not just kind of fits and starts, and different teachers have their own Facebook pages and different accounts, and it all kind of coordinates together. I think it's a big time need that we have.
Okay, that's it for my section. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to move on to reading and acceptance of the minutes. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the following meeting of the Board of Education, March 8th, 2017, regular Board of Education meeting as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Eckberg?
Aye.
Kurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison? Aye. Seifert?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to, before we move on to board discussion and reports, if anyone is interested in addressing the board this evening, the green sheets, if we can have those filled out and given to our secretary, we will be coming upon that shortly. Board discussion and reports, Ed Red. Ed Red,
Right here.
yes, Dr. Chapman.
The reason I'm delayed in saying something is because our legislators are on vacation, so that.
End of report.
End of report.
Okay, 1-5.
Again, Saturday, April 22nd is the Dueling Pianos fundraiser at Dirty Nelly's. Tickets in advance are $30, tickets at the door $35. Hope to see a bunch of people there. It's 6:30 to 9:30 on Saturday, the 22nd.
Okay, short and sweet. The president's report. You may have heard that there was an election last week. I want to congratulate the new board members. They will be sworn in at the April 26th changeover meeting. That's coming up. Okay, that's when we'll turn over. Good luck to you all.
Yes.
And we're going to move on now to citizens addressing the board. Anyone? Mr. Green, you know the rules. I've read them enough. I believe you're good with it.
Good evening, all. I just want to comment briefly on what I thought was a very good presentation regarding the Chromebooks by Matthew Barbini and his team. And as I listened to it, just from the background of technology consulting world that I'm in, I realized that obviously you can't go all through all the details that exist underneath the work that's been done to date. And so these questions I'm posing now, or observations, are really with a view to, I think you mentioned, in the May 10th board meeting, there'll be a proposal coming back for the board to look at, going ahead with the proposal way. So if I can, I just want to break it down into a couple of topics that I didn't hear specifics about, but I think from a parent point of view, if I had kids in the district in today's world of cybersecurity, data privacy, hacking threats and the like, and a few other things just around kind of, I say, good practices on that. A few things I would like to see some clarity on before the 10th. One is, I heard talk about, for example, content filters and putting in some software to restrict sites and things like this. And I'd like to see, and maybe it's there already, we just need to look at the details, is policies that deal with enforcements where deviations from required practices take place. For example, what if a parent who's a techie changes the configuration of the Chromebook and that kid comes back to school and there's a risk of infecting the network? What if there's, what controls are in place to protect personally identifiable information in the case of breaches and things like that? Because I think when everybody complies, it's great, it's fairly secure. It's more like, how do you audit and inspect and check to make certain that the devices that are taken home and come back when they're back on the network, is there some kind of threat detection, and other virus software monitoring going on to alert proactively things that are not going to cause a data loss to the rest of the infrastructure on the systems and that. So just a few things on that. In many cases, people will say in the IT world, it's not if you're going to get hacked, it's when. Okay, so that seems to be the thing that goes on a lot. From a responsibility point of view, human nature is when you're given something, you may not look after it as well as when you paid for it. And I realize we're not planning to sell the equipment or make students pay for that, but what's the policy going to be in the case of a loss of a device? I come back, in the old days, kids used to say, my dog ate my homework. Now my dog chewed my Chromebook. Okay, that device is unusable. Who's paying for the replacement of that device? Okay. Kids come into the district. Chromebooks have got a life of more than 1 year. If a kid comes in and then leaves at the end of the year, where's the responsibility and ownership of that device? Does that kid take it? Does that kid have the... is there an option to purchase it if they're leaving the district? So, because I think we're outlaying, certainly the proposal next year is just short of $1 million on that. And so I'd like to see just a little bit more clarity on that from a financial kind of stewardship perspective. And then finally, just mention was made, a few years ago we got iPads, now we're switching to Chromebooks. This purchase, I'd like to see projections on 5 and 10-year costs of the technology. It's $981,200 proposal for this coming year, but those Chromebooks are not going to last forever. So I think the big picture stuff, long-term total cost of ownership is quite important as opposed to a point-in-time thing. So it would be great if we could see some more explanation provided ahead of the May 10th meeting. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we are going to move on to action items. Number 8, personnel report. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the April 12th, 2017 personnel report as presented, including the following recommendations. Recommendation for the approval of a 3-day unpaid suspension for Christy Austin. Recommendation for the approval of a 5-day unpaid suspension for Thomas Leonate.
L.
Yeah. And 3, recommendation for approval of a 2-day unpaid suspension for Carla Manor.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Gurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye. Motion carries. Item 17-421, resolution non-reemployment of probationary educational support personnel. May I have the motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for non-reemployment of probationary educational support personnel employees as follows. Carl Abraham, Aline Akey, Marjorie Beckley, Amanda Chakeen, Amy Cunningham, Jacqueline Downing, Kimberly Dunn, Sharon Earhart, Alejandro Espinoza, Ryan Jenkins, Jorge Jimenez Polo, Tiffany Colasa, Anna Lesner, Jessica Lindsay, Barbara McCall, Aaron McHugh, Colleen Mueller, Justin Park, Lauren Plager, Carla Quevedo, Tegan Reed, Sandra Sariba, Thomas Schneers, James Schroeder, Barbara Vasquez, and Paul Volkman.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Egbert?
Aye.
Gurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17-422, resolution non-reemployment of part-time educational support personnel. May I have the motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for non-reemployment of part-time educational support personnel employees as follows. Christina Altamirano, Deborah Baker, Leona Bernacci, Brenda Buskey, Annette Chimello, Elizabeth Martin, Carol Nelson, Alex Rotella, Heather Steinerbray, Ralph Tilliston.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Gurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17-423 is a resolution regarding certain capital expenditures. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the resolution expressing official intent regarding certain capital expenditures to be reimbursed from proceeds of an obligation to be issued by Community Consolidated School District 15, Cook County, Illinois, as recommended.
Second.
Discussion?
So just a quick clarification on this. This resolution is required if you want to, at a later date, reimburse yourself from bond proceeds for work that's already been done. So we have to do this before the work gets done, and then at a later date, the board could decide if they wanted to issue bonds to reimburse the district funds for these projects. So this doesn't obligate anyone to go into further debt. It just provides us with the opportunity to recoup those funds through bond proceeds if the board chooses in the future.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Who was the second?
I was.
Okay, thank you. Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Gurian?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17-424, revised school calendar for 2016-17.
I make a motion to approve the 2016-17 revised school calendar as presented.
Second.
Discussion?
You know, some people were upset that the last day of school now is going to be the day after Memorial Day. And so I can never win, you know, never. We didn't have a single snow day, didn't have a single cold day, and I still get criticism.
Roll call. Morrison? Aye. Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock? Aye. Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Kurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17-425, bid award for folding partitions. May I have the motion, please?
I make a motion to award the contract for the folding partitions, bid 17-014 to One Door, Salt Lake City, Utah, for a total bid award in the amount of $37,715.35 as recommended.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Kurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17-426, bid award for landscape and playground mulch. May I have the motion, please?
I make a motion to award the contract for landscape and playground mulch bid 17018 to the Mulch Center of Deerfield, Illinois, for a total bid award amount of $157,905 as recommended.
Second.
Discussion?
So this is a requirement for safety purposes to have a certain number of inches of mulch at each one of our playground sites to absorb the cushion, to absorb the shock and cushion the kids if they should fall. It also is required by our insurance company, and there are specific regulations about what this mulch, where it can come from. It has to be pure, clean, it can't be no contaminants, and so Ivy Fleming, our purchasing coordinator, she offered this to 13 people, and we will have good, clean mulch at all our buildings because of this bid. So.
When it first gets put down. Right? Roll call.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Kurian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Just so you know, though, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Craig does have his guys go weekly to check that mulch to make sure it remains clean. There are no foreign objects in it. No, really. I mean, so it's just a safety precaution that people just don't really even know about. But we don't want any sharp objects in there, and his guys go through and they check it every week.
Quick comment on that. I live over by Jane Addams, and notice, is there any way, it seems like we lose a lot of mulch throughout the rains we've had. I mean, the rains obviously build up within the playgrounds and it washes it away. I noticed the other day walking the dogs, the amount of mulch that gets wiped away or washed away. Is there, I know we have a lot of borders there. We have the railroad ties to border it. I don't know if there's any other way to prevent it. I don't know if it's happening in other playgrounds, but it seems, I bet we go through a lot because of the amount that we lose throughout the spring season because of the rains. So it was just apparent to me the other day walking by, I've noticed in my yard, but the amount of mulch that is getting on the north side of the school, getting washed onto the sidewalks and then eventually into the street, and we completely lose it. So just curious, I noticed the way, and noticed at other playgrounds, the way the playgrounds, the use over the years, those railroad ties continue to move and we lose a lot of dirt and mulch down the road. And I don't know if Jane Addams is a particular situation, but it may be something to look at as far as that playground itself.
We'll get back to you on that. I think it's a good thought.
Yeah, just the cost savings.
Appreciate it.
Did we roll call on that?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. Item 17-427, approval of the healthcare renewal 2017-2018 medical, dental, and vision rates. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the proposed healthcare renewal 2017-18 medical, dental, vision rates as recommended.
Second.
Discussion.
I asked Mike Adamczyk just to give us a little background on this and explain the numbers and the process and how we've achieved these rates and
Thank you.
what it means to the budget.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. So we have a very active health insurance committee where administration meets with members from the CTC. And we are self-insured, excuse me, on our PPO and our HMO plan. And we look at what our experience has been for the current year and we try and forecast what our experience is going to be for next year. And that was a report, PricewaterhouseCoopers, our consulting firm, PwC, estimates that healthcare insurance rates would raise 6.5% for 2017. Our rates are going up about 5.7, so a little bit better than what the national trend is and has been. It's been as high as 1% per year in prior years. We've had rates as low as 2%, 3-4% in prior years. So it's really based on what our utilization is for 1 year, and that can spike from 1 year to the next. So we look at what our rates have been, what our experiences is, and forecast out to next year. We did work with the committee. We're adding 2 new plans for next year. There's a high deductible health plan with a health savings account. GCG, General Chicago Group, is our consultant, estimates that we could save 12% on our claims experience on that group alone. We haven't factored that into our renewal for next year because we don't know how many employees and their families will join that plan. We offered a third lower cost HMO next year as well. It's lower cost for the employees, lower cost for the employer. For us, GCG estimates about a 6% reduction in total claims cost for those employees that take HMOC. Combined, the high deductible health plan and the HMOC should reduce our rates by about 1%. So we're looking at a 5.7% increase for next year. We are self-insured. We're hoping that when the year is done, it'll be about 4.7%, which is still below the national trend. If that's the case, then the board will see that when we do the renewal a year from now.
How often does the committee meet?
We'll meet in the fall, review the claims that are going on, and then in February, March is when we meet a couple times. And it is difficult because to be able to base your next year's renewal, we need the data. So if we meet in January, we've only got 6 months of claims. So it's always a rush because we're trying to get as much claims data as we can. So we try and meet in February, which is 8 months of data, take that, extrapolate that out to next year, and then there's always kind of a rush at the end. So we meet end of the calendar year, beginning of the next.
Okay.
We have to provide the rates and the options for people to either enter our program or change whatever selection they had. And Francine works really hard to make sure that everyone gets that information and has a chance to do that in the election month, which is May. So we have to get everything done, and these rates have to be approved before the May, so that Francine can get all of her paperwork out and get people all signed so they can get in the right plan.
Francine's ready to send the rates out tomorrow, pending board approval tonight, so she's anxious.
Well, it's nice to see so much the new plans, to see how much they have to choose from. It's always nice to have more choices.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Chapman?
Aye.
Eckbert?
Aye.
Durian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye. Motion carries. Item 17-430 is the consent calendar. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent calendar? May I have the motion,
I'll make
please?
a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second?
Roll call.
Eckbert?
Aye.
Durian?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Motion carries. Dr. Thompson.
There were 4 requests or responses for information under the Freedom of Information Act during the period of March 2nd through April 6th. On March 3rd, a request was received from Gabriella Luricella, Smart Procure, Deerfield Beach, Florida. The response to this request was sent on March 10th. On February 28th, a request was received from an anonymous requester. The response to this request was sent on March 7th. On March 7th, the request was received from an anonymous requester. The response to this request was sent on March 14th. And on March 23rd, a request was received from Sheila Tracy, Palatine, Illinois. A FOIA 5-day extension notice was sent on March 30. The response to this request was sent on April 6th. We received 1 check from the City of Rolling Meadows for developer contributions in the amount of $2,619.
Item 10, may I have the suggested motion to go into executive session, please?
I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity.
Second.
Do we need a roll call for that? Roll call, please.
Corinne?
Aye.
Hahn?
Aye.
Morrison? Aye. Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Eckert?
Aye.
We will be returning to open session just to end the meeting.
Yeah, there will be the
There'll
action.
be no action taken.